Hey, what is up, gamers? Throttle Gaming here with another video, and today I'm going to be giving you some more tips on how to get the multiplayer characters in Blackout. But before we go into that, I just want to say, if you guys like what you see, if this helps you out at all, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot, helps my channel get noticed, and also that can benefit you in a way, because I am going to be doing a giveaway for reaching about 200 followers on Instagram. So I'm gonna have a link down to that in my profile for more information. Make sure you guys can go check that out so you can be a part of that. And because thank you guys for also being subscribers. It's really helped me out a lot. Keeps me going, keeps me wanting to make more videos that I hope are enjoyable for you. Also, I'm gonna be putting timestamps for each of the characters down below. So if you just want to skip to a certain one you might be having trouble with, I'll be telling you what I did to get those characters. And also, if you guys have not already watched it, go ahead and check out my most recent tips video on getting the Blackout icon characters. I'll have a link to that in the description as well, or there might be something at the end of the video that you can just click on. But if you have any questions or anything, go check that video, leave a comment on this video, and I'll get back to you for that. Alright, well, let's begin with a couple tips before getting into the characters. So, being that these are the multiplayer characters, can't remember quite how many there are. I think there's 10 in total. 10 items you can get to potentially unlock characters. So that being said, that means they are the most frequent ones you might find, which is a good thing per se, because that means you have a better chance of finding their item in the when you go for these characters. So just be mindful of that. If they have more spawn points, so that's pretty cool. If they're in supply drops, there's about a supply drop every rotation, so you can look out for those too. Also, like if you pick up an item and it's for a character, you're like, I wasn't really planning on getting this one, I wanted someone else, but let's go for it. But you notice the challenge, like say you pick up Prophet's item, and you're like, okay, well I don't know if I want to go for that right now, and you're like trying to get someone like Ruin, then it's okay to have drop that item for Prophet and stick with the one for Ruin, because you can always come back. The game's not gonna end just because you drop an item. So if you're just trying to get for one, go for one. I'm not saying it's impossible to get multiple characters, but I just puts more of a challenge on yourself, and I find it easier to just go for one character at a time. So just be cautious of that. Next tip, when getting these characters, the RNG is pretty crazy. Like, you might go to the same spot 10 games in a row where the item can go and it might not show up, so just be patient, and hopefully that 11th time, or maybe you'll get lucky and on your first time it shows up, and then you can go and shoot for getting that person. So we already covered some tips, so let's get into some characters that we're not really going to cover so much, just because the way to get them isn't through their item, and that's so first one being Reaper. So he comes with the season pass. They just released that, so not much information there. I mean, if you want to drop, I don't even know how much the season pass is, like $30-$40. So if you really like, I want to play as the robot, then you can go ahead and do that. Personally, I don't know if I'm going to get the season pass, just because I'm really focused on Blackout, and I'm not too fond of multiplayer or zombies. But that's just me personally. And the second character that they just released is Zero, where just for this you just have to play and hit that first tier. I believe it's the first tier, and you've unlocked her. So that's really all it is for those two. But without those out of the way, let's get into the first character. So we're going for Ruin is going to be the first one, the poster child. His item, the punching mitts, can be found at several locations. I found it best to go for it at Asylum, because it's easy to land to. Not a lot of people go there, I want to say. I mean, it's a hit or miss, but that's honestly my go-to spot anyways, is Asylum. I know the area well. I know where the different spawn points are for the mystery box, so there's a good chance you can get ×3 armor or a paladin fully spec'd, or really any weapon fully spec'd, so that would help you out a lot. But his challenge, is to get a close range kill, and it's kind of tricky, because at first I thought it was a melee kill, right? Close kill means melee kill. Fortunately, that's not the case. All you have to do is be pretty close to them, so you know you can shotgun them, and or even you know if you're using an SMG and you're just very close, I want to say within like 10 feet or something, then it should unlock. Now normally I would recommend playing solos for characters, but in this instance, you know, duos or even squads might be better, just because you know if you grab it, you're gonna down someone, you can run up to them and melee them, and the nice thing is if you do happen to get killed, that there's no placement you have to get in order to reach ruin, I don't think. So it's me very nice to just go kill someone. If you die, hey, at least you got the character, so boom, that should be ruin. Next up, we're gonna have Recon. This was actually my first character that I unlocked, and I had no idea. I even had the, I think it's his tags or something, whatever it is, the Ching coins maybe. So you know, just for his challenge, it's avoiding collapse damage. And as I said, like I had no idea, so I think I looked at it like when there was like 5 people left or something, and I saw, I was like, oh, I have it. And I thought it was fall damage. I didn't even know about the check marks or anything. And I was like, oh crap, I already took fall damage. You know, I'm not even going to get this guy. But it's collapse damage is what it says, which means the storm or the aura, you know, whatever you want to call it, the thing that closes in on you. So if you take any damage from that, however, you will lose the challenge. So just be careful of that. You know, you can find it pretty much throughout the game. You can find it off people. You can find it in crates. So just, you know, if you get that, as soon as you pick it up, that's when the challenge starts. So if you have taken collapse damage previously, don't think, oh, well, now I can't get this character, because you still can, because the challenges don't start till you actually pick up the item. So just do that, and then I think it's top 30, and then there you go, there's Recon. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Torque, who, in my opinion, is the easiest challenge in the game. It just really comes down to RNG of his item. So I found it personally best to go to Fracking Tower, and if you don't know, there's blast doors that open up, and there's usually a supply stash down there, and you know, you might get lucky, and if his note's in there, there's a good chance, you know, like 80% of the time, the 2 razor wires and the barricade that you need to place in the match spawn with his note. So, you know, supply stashes have that pretty well, but the little crates that may have his note, I know sometimes those don't. So just be careful of that. But, you know, go to fracking, go to wherever you know there's a good supply stash. Open it up, pop those on, and, you know, there you go. Then just play safe till top 15. I would say that's one challenge for people. It's like, you know, you don't have to engage anyone. You can get on a vehicle, get in a helicopter, just ride away from any fight you might think is happening or might be coming towards you. And, you know, just be careful of that. And also the last pointer I had, when I got Torque, I did grab it from one of those little supply stashes, so it didn't have the razor wires or the barricade. So, you know, I had a friend grab some razor wire. I was like, hey, if you see any of this, you know, please let me deploy this. And lucky enough, he had one, and I happened to have one, and the barricade is what I got from the supply stash. So, boom, there we go, and then I got him unlocked. Next up is Ajax. Now, some might argue Ajax is a little easier than Torque, but just because, you know, you can pick the 3 broken plates off of anyone, but that's where I would argue, you know, it's like you do have to fight and kill 3 people who have armor, and, you know, it's like you might not always break their armor in that fight, especially now with how the new system works, where you can repair armor. It's less likely that someone's going to have either low armor or broken armor at all. So just be careful of that, you know, because you want to win those gunfights, and then as soon as you pick those up, that's it. You get those 3 plates, and you got Ajax, who, in my opinion, too, has some pretty cool skins. I don't know if you guys have seen the new one, but I'm kind of leaning towards buying it. He looks like a Centurion from Rise, the Xbox game. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but it looks super cool. Alright, next up we have Battery. And in this case, you know, I've gotten extremely lucky because I think I've played almost about 400 games, and I think I've only ever seen the grenade launcher twice. It spawns in supply stashes, and I got lucky once when I found it was at construction. You know, I wasn't even really shooting for Battery, but I was like, oh, hey, what's this? Looked, and boom, and I was like, oh, for Battery. So what her challenge is, you have to kill, not just down, you have to kill 2 enemies. And, you know, if they have over level 2 armor, it's going to take about 3 or 4 shots to kill them. So if you want to try and weaken them with your other gun, that's not a bad idea. Or if you know someone's in a close area, like if they're in a house or inside anywhere, that helps as well, just because splash damage will help do more damage. So you do that, pop your 3 shots into a guy. It should fully kill them if you're playing duos or squads and they go down. In solos, it will for sure kill them. And then, you know, that's the hard part is, you know, if you run out of those 6 shots and say you just killed one guy and you haven't finished his buddy off, or you haven't found anyone else, then you're out of luck and you gotta go and look for another grenade launcher. And I would recommend trying to keep the first one in your inventory, because I don't know if it carries over. So just be mindful of that, guys. Be very careful with this. You know, you can try and bait enemies with things that cause noise. If you put a sensor dart down, people try to go and destroy those as best they can because they don't want to be seen anyway. So, you know, if you can bait someone with that, do that. If you can stun them first too, that helps as well. But yeah, the worst part about her challenge is really just trying to find her item, because yeah, 400 games, finding it twice, that is like near impossible. Like, I can't imagine why they would make the RNG so rare for that, but they did. Next up, we're gonna have Crash. Now this item, it's not the hardest challenge in the game, but is kind of annoying if you're trying to do more than just get him. And for his, you have to have 15 medical supplies, where 2 full sets of bandages equals out to about 20. So boom, you do that, you're good. But then you have to hit top 15 as well. So it's kind of the same thing as Orc, where you kind of really just want to play safe, because the bandages, they're not the best healing item at all. They're good if you're like, oh, I'm at 120 health. Okay, let's pop a bandage. But if you're really trying to heal yourself, med kits or trauma kits are the way to go. Bandages are just they take too long to get to the, because I think they only heal for 25. A med kit heals for 50. So the amount of time you pop 4 bandages, you could have popped 3 med kits and been to full health. So just be careful of that, guys, if you're trying to do this. Get those 15 bandages, or 20 bandages, excuse me, just to play it safe. And then yeah, just try and get into the middle of the zone, hit that top 15, and you're squared away. And next up we have Firebreak, who up to this point I had actually not gotten. And this gameplay here, this is from today actually. I got it off of a person, which I found was like super lucky for me, because I wasn't trying to get any characters. I was just playing, having fun. See this, and my mindset immediately changed. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for Firebreak now. Unfortunately, this guy did have a Molotov, so I was not about to waste this on anyone. And you see, the best tactic for this is you want to catch someone. If you're playing duos or squads, if you can down someone and then throw a Molotov, that's your best bet. But if you're playing solos, you want to really catch someone off guard, either inside or just unaware of what's going on around them, because by the time they've reacted, they will hopefully go down. But you know, if they're paying attention, if they know if you're actively fighting them, they're going to be pretty like set on being able to dodge that. So just be careful of that. You know, it takes about 3 seconds to fully kill someone. So if you have 2 or more Molotovs, that should kill a person. But just be careful of that, guys. If you're going to do this, equip up with those Molotovs, and then just be ready to get placed up in that top 25. Coming up next, we have Seraph, which actually proved rather difficult for me, just because at the time, a lot of people were going for Seraph, just because it was one of the easier ones to go for, like getting her actual item. But you know, you only get 6 shots in her gun, and you have to get 2 kills. So it's kind of the same thing for Battery, where if you're playing solos, you know, the earlier you can do this, the better, because late game, people are going to have armor, and they're going to be better equipped. So, you know, her gun does a decent amount of damage, but not a crazy amount to where if you're in a 1v1, you're going to win for sure. Unless you spray all 6 bullets, and then if that's your first kill, then you're out of luck, because her item only spawns once per game. You can't get it from a stash or anything. It's just from firing range that one time. So just be careful of that. If you have to play duos or squads to know where you can down someone first and then finish them off with her gun, that's probably your best bet. So I think that, or stunning someone first, or weakening them with your other gun. you can go ahead and try and do that. Next up, we got Nomad, who, again, going back to RNG, you'll have to find this, and then they actually changed the challenge. At first it was killing 2 specialist enemies, and early on, you know, that was pretty difficult to do just because, you know, early on people don't have many characters, or they want to play the default character, or they want to play the ranger or frogman, you know, whatever tier they've gotten to, or the battle hardened even. Like if once I get to echelon 80, I'm going to be playing the battle hardened character the most because he's the coolest looking in my opinion. So they did change it. So now it's just kill 2 enemies without taking damage from them. So that's nice, but again, it's not nice because if you're equipped with SMGs or something, you're gonna have to get close, and by the time this person sees you or hears you shooting at them, they're gonna probably be able to turn around and get at least 1 shot on you. So that can be proved to be pretty risky. You know, try using a sniper rifle if you can, or a rocket launcher even, and killing someone from a vehicle, because that counts as well. But for this, I recommend, you know, getting a silencer too and putting on dead silence, because if you do that, there's less of a chance they'll know you're there, and so you can sneak up on them, stun them, do whatever you have to do. Yeah, just try and do that. Kill those 2 people, and then you'll be set. Last but very not least, we have, in my opinion, the hardest character in Blackout to get, and that's gonna be Prophet. Without a doubt, you know, it's like you have to win. Any character where you have to win, that proves to be pretty challenging, not just for everyone, but me personally too. It's like winning is hard. There's 100 people in the game you're fighting basically, and so, you know, being able to pull that off requires some luck for sure, and it requires some skill too. So it's not like, oh, you know, I'm the best player there is. Like sometimes you get lucky. Some players are just maybe not as equipped as you, and so, you know, being able to pull this off is rather difficult. And unfortunately, yeah, I was gonna show the video of me obtaining Prophet, but unfortunately I lost it. I don't know where it went. I think I might have deleted it by accident, thinking it was a different clip. But you know, my recommendations for this is, his challenge is to win the game with 3 perks active, not just in your inventory, but make sure they're actually active and on. What you should do is, you know, grab at least 6 perks, I think. You want to make it the ones that last the longest, you know, Iron Lungs, Looter, Reinforced, those type of things, because, you know, if you pop those when you're in the like top 5 or something, they should last up until the game finishes. Plus they have little markers. If you hover over the item in your inventory, it will say how long they last. Some last 120 seconds, some last 180. So, you know, if you're curious on which ones are the last the longest, do that. But also, you know, you want to have good perks as well. So if you can grab a dead silence, awareness, you know, anything like that that will help you in a gunfight sneak up on someone, that'll help you out a ton. Having stuns and smokes will give you an edge as well, because if, say you're fighting a dude with cluster grenades, he's gonna have to get pretty lucky to land those on you, or sensor darts even will help you out as well. But you know, it's just gonna be rather challenging to actually win an engagement late game without equipment such as those. And you know, for the guns, I find it best for those engagements to have a medium to long range assault rifle. The new one is fantastic, the SWAT. It's so good at long range. Like, you'll see me pick people off in this video, and I'm kind of blown away by it, but that was what really works for me. And then an SMG, I love the Spitfire for those close range combats. It shoots fast. If you throw extended mags on there and all attachments, it's just going to shred through people's armor. If you guys saw in one video, this guy ran at me with ×3 armor and a Bowie knife. He shanked me once, but fortunately I had the Spitfire. That thing just shredded him, and there was nothing he could do. Other than that, guys, if you're playing in squads or anything, I want to say stay away from that, because if your squad mates get killed, if you're not playing with friends, and it comes down to you against a whole squad, that's going to be like the most challenging fight of your life. So, you know, solos will make it easier, because if you know there's 3 people, that's a 1v1v1. You're all trying to kill each other. So just do that, guys. I'm sorry there's not really much more tips I can give for that. It kind of comes down to getting lucky, because if you're better equipped than some people, then there's a better chance you will win as well. But you guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope this helped out a lot. I'm still working on a zombies tips video as well. I'm still having trouble unlocking some of them, so that'll be up here hopefully in a couple of weeks or so, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And until guys, best of luck, and I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.